Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today on this wonderful Saturday for T-Town Bound. My name is Octavio, and I am an admissions advisor for the University of Washington, Tacoma. This is a day for students that have been admitted. We would like to congratulate all of you for your hard work that you've done up until this point. While this is going on, if you do have any questions, you can text them to 208-918-0351. Again, that is 208-918-0351. Feel free to text any questions that you are having to that, and we will do our best to answer them as soon as possible. Now, what coming next, we do have a message from the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs, Mentha Hines Wilson.
Hello, and welcome to our virtual Admitted Student Day program. Our amazing team of students, faculty, and staff have come together to provide you with a glimpse of the UW student experience. Joining our community means so much more than picking up a new purple t-shirt or sweatshirt. At UW Tacoma, we are united in our belief that there are no limits to our students' potential for success. No matter what you need or what you're going through, there are people and programs to help. We are a community that learns together, supports each other, demonstrates care for our neighbors, and celebrates together. And now, you have been invited to be a part of our boundless community. Today, you will get a small taste of the passion and dedication that we experience on a daily basis. Please ask your questions and know that we're here to support you during the decision-making process. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations on your admission, and I look forward to seeing you on campus in the fall. Go Dogs!
Thank you, Mentha. Amazing as always. Today, you will have an opportunity to learn more about the University of Washington, Tacoma. As for today, what it will look like, you will have a virtual tour that will be done by the wonderful ambassadors, the student ambassadors that we have. They will be your guides for today. After that, there will be a next steps presentation. And then from there, we're going to have a Q&A with the student ambassadors. So that's a great opportunity to ask any questions that you have directly to the students. And then we're going to have presentations from financial aid and academic advising, so you can get more information on that. And then from there, lastly, what we're going to have is a Q&A from the professional staff. So please stand by and go through that. But before that, before we move forward, we are going to have a great student ambassador. Naga has a message for all of you.
Hey guys, I'm Naga. I'm a senior here on campus, and I've been here for the last 4 years. I came to UW Tacoma my spring quarter of freshman year as a computer science major. Both of my parents were computer scientists, so I figured I'd do the same. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But a few weeks into the new year, I heard about a case competition through the School of Business. I had no idea what it was all about, but I knew that in 72 hours, you would have to create a business plan, and the winning team gets $500 each. And, you know, being a broke boy during that time period, I was all for it. So I created my team of Avengers, and we submitted our business plan. And that Friday, we were going to present. We were already excited, super pumped about what we were going to get after we get $500. But then we get an email saying that we were facing the back-to-back case competition champions. And in that moment, I was like, dang, I guess we're just going to have fun by winning. And so for the whole week, we worked super hard. We stayed up late night. And on that Friday, after we presented, we were sleep deprived, we were hanging, and we were broken. But the end result was we beat the champions. And we got second place in the entire competition. So that meant that I didn't get that $500, but it did teach me something. The next day, I went to the academic advisors and I told them, hey, how do I switch into the business major? And then I called up my parents and then I said, hey guys, I'm not good at computer science. And they're like, what do you mean you're not good at computer science? What do you mean you're not good? And it was a tough call, but 4 years later, I'm going to be graduating from the Milgard School of Business with a marketing degree. And the biggest thing that I've learned from that is to follow your strengths in life, because they'll get you higher and a lot farther than focusing on your weaknesses. I wasn't made for computer science, and I was forcing a puzzle piece that wouldn't fit. these next 2 to 4 years, find out what you want, because if you know what you want, I promise you, no one can stop you from getting it but you. So I hope you find what you want, know the wisdom to take a break, and have the courage to never quit. Thank you guys all so much. And for the last 4 years, thank you, Noel, and all the admissions advisors. And now, let's get on with the campus tour. We're going to introduce our campus ambassadors. Perfect. Let's go with Gabe.
Hello, everyone. My name is Gabriel. I am a senior here at UW-Tacoma. I came here straight out of high school, so we're going here all 4 years, 2016. So, it's pretty crazy that I only have about 7 weeks left. I am in the information technology program. So if anyone has any questions about the IT program, anything about the School of Engineering and Technology, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
Hi all, my name is Katrine. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a business management major with a minor in sociology at the Milgard School of Business. I'm also a transfer student from Tacoma Community College, and I'm finishing up my senior quarter here at UW-T.
I muted that whole, excuse me, whole time. There we go. All right, so let's try this again. My name's Austin. I'm a junior here at UW-Tacoma, so I'm currently majoring in GIS, so Geospatial Information Systems, with a minor in Technical Communications.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew. I am currently a junior in the Information Technology program, and I also have my minor in Technical Communication. As Gabriel said before, if you guys have any questions about our School of Engineering and Technology, feel free to ask me or Gabriel. We have the inside scoop.
Sweet. My name is Daniela. I'm majoring in criminal justice, minoring in law and policy. I was a Running Start student, so if you guys have any questions about Running Start, feel free to ask us in the student panel. I graduated from Emerald Ridge High School and Pierce College class of 2019. So moving on to the city is your campus.
So the city is your campus. UW-T is located in the heart of downtown. It's an urban serving campus that caters to Tacoma and south of the Puget Sound. We're dedicated to serve our local communities through education, as well as developing and improving the health of the communities that have lived here for generations. Downtown Tacoma is central museums, parks, restaurants, the Narrows Bridge. Anything you can really think of is a walking or driving distance to downtown.
And one of my favorite things about Tacoma is all the different things you can do. Class that we have, the sport marketing class that we have the stadium. It's a big stadium and you can talk to the different ages. But one of my favorite things to do is on a Tuesday, we go down to Point Rust, this beautiful theater and a beautiful location. And we get everybody from Court 17. We usually go watch the biggest movie premieres like Endgame or on Tuesdays because they're $5. Well as on during the springtime, we all have farmers markets on our campus, which is awesome. And just if you guys ever want to go to any museums, they're all along Pav. And one of my favorite restaurants, the Tacoma area, is Philly Steak Sandwich. Go Philly! So, and our campus map. So our campus is all in the downtown location. You can tell most of our classes are along Pack Ave. So it's also connected to the light rail. It could take you straight to the Dome or anything like that. I've been living at 17, which is our on-campus dorms for the 4 years. And everything that you see in green is owned by the university, and we're going to be building new property for it. And most of our classes are going to be typical Roy building, as Dugan if you're in school, Cherry Parks if you're in computer. Connected together, and you will see more of that throughout the campus tour.
So the Mattress Factory is going to be one of your top resources for all of the offices located here on campus. So Office of Admissions, the Office of the Registrar. If you lose your Husky ID card, that would be the office that you would go to get a new one. It also serves as a U-Pass for all public transportation. There are other offices located in the Mattress Factory as well, career development. So wanting to get a job on campus or wanting to get your resume edited for professional jobs beyond college, as well as looking for internships, free counseling services offered to students as well, financial aid, disability resources. If you want to take tests by yourself because you're not comfortable taking tests in classrooms, disability resources is the office that you'd want to seek. And then on top of that, besides offices, there's also the Doghouse located in the Mattress Factory. That's sort of like a little chill hangout place for you to unwind. You can rent out Nintendo Switches, PS4s, Xboxes. You can warm up your lunch there, play ping pong, play pool. The Doghouse, like I said, is just a place in the Mattress Factory for you to relax on campus when you're not studying.
Yeah, so the next building we move to on our tour is our Cherry Park building. Located in this building, we have our School of Engineering and Technology and our School of Nursing and Healthcare Leadership. If you are looking to do School of Engineering and Technology, you'll have the option of taking computer science, computer engineering, information technology like me and Gabriel, or electrical engineering. We also have our School of Nursing and Healthcare Leadership for our students. And if you guys are looking to do nursing programs in the future, we are an RN to BSN program. So make sure you get your RN before you get that BSN. If you are looking to do master's program at our School of Engineering and Technology, we do a master's in cybersecurity and leadership and a master's in computer science. The biggest tip I'll give you guys is if you do get into our School of Engineering and Technology, you will have 24-hour access to the computer labs in the building. So if you need to do any networking homework early in the morning or late at night, you'll always have that option. And I'll pass it over to Gabriel so he can give you some more information about it.
Yeah, so Cherry Parks is an awesome building. Downstairs, they have the multimedia lab. So if you're ever interested in doing some Photoshop, some Adobe Premiere for a class project or something, or just for personal use, they'll have that available for students. That's where I would go for academic advising. They also have some really great computer labs in there. They have one specific for the School of Engineering and Technology. And they also have a brand new, upstairs on the second floor, they have a brand new networking lab, which is really awesome. But yeah, that'll just about do it for Cherry Parks.
Going on to Garrettson, Woodruff, and Pratt building, that is where the university bookstore is located on Pack Ave. As well as next to it is the Starbucks where you can study before class, afterwards. That's what I personally like to do as well. We have the University Academic Advising. That is where as a freshman you go and get, you can declare your major, etc. And then we also have the Chancellor's office located in there. In that building as well in GWP is the Global Affairs, the Studying Abroad program. So if that's something that you guys are interested in, like I am studying abroad in the fall, that is where the building their office is located in that building as well to help you finance the studying abroad program as well as other programs available not just here at UWT but as well as Seattle campus and Bothell campus as well. So moving on to West Coast Grocery.
Yeah. So right when you walk in GWP, you keep walking down that way, you would hit the academic block, we like to call it, which includes a lot of our different classrooms and includes the biggest classroom on campus, actually, which only it has a limit of about 100 and 203 students. And comparatively to a lot of other universities, that's pretty small. We only average about 29 students per classroom. And, that was a big kind of deal for me going to UW-Tacoma because that's really what I preferred. I really like those smaller class sizes. You means that you get better one-on-one time with your professors. They really get to know you. You really get to know them. But yeah, once you guys are on campus, if you guys want to go check out that room, it's pretty awesome. I've never seen it more than like a third of the way filled. But you keep walking down that way, you'd hit West Coast Grocery, and we're going to pass it off to Austin and kind of talk a little bit more about that.
All right, and then here is West Coast Grocery. So in there we have the Office for the Center of Equity and Inclusion. We have the Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences Office, I believe up on the 4th floor, which kind of houses the most majors for our specific school, as well as you can see there, we have our own little grocery store for you. So if you ever need to come grab a snack during, before, or after class, that's a great place to go. Grab your snack during like a break and get back to class, study, as well as there's a big open study space just on the outside of where you're seeing. That's a good place to sit down, meet up with some friends, get some studying taken care of, as well as there's computers for you to use, printers as well.
So moving on to Tacoma Paper and Stationery, the TPS building, that is where we have the Global and Design Lab. That is also what we call the makerspace. Students as well as faculty can go in there and explore different materials on how to make, a cool little experiment, etc. There's a lot of open floor space upstairs. It is one of our newest buildings here. I personally like using the TPS building because, next slide please. And this is the main lounge per se in the building. I personally like to study in there because there's a lot of natural lighting. You get to see a lot of your peers in there. Usually after a morning class, I just like to sit down and debrief and just enjoy the natural lighting. The windows there are kind of garage style, so in the springtime we like to open them up and then just have the Tacoma breeze just breeze into the building. It's a cool building, one of, again, the newest buildings there. And yeah, so moving on to Pinkerton building.
So the Pinkerton building is a really unique building. It's one of the oldest buildings in all three of the UW campuses. It's home to our School of Urban Studies program, as well as some a lot of our professors' offices are upstairs as well. Yeah, Austin, you got it from here?
Yep, I was muted again. I apologize. So, as Naga was saying, so all the professors' offices are going to be on the second and third floor, and then on the bottom floor is where the GIS labs and the GIS specific lounge is. So those are computer labs, as well as if you're in that major, you can go to the other computer labs around campus to be able to use the programs that you need. And then next is Dugan with Naga and Katrine.
Yeah, so like I was talking to you guys about the case competition, we're one of the few universities in the country that offer the CSR minor, which is corporate social responsibility. I would strongly recommend you guys minoring in that. It's all about how does a corporation give to the community rather than take from it, and it's one of the most wholesome classes that I've also taken in the Dugan building. It's also home to marketing, accounting, business administration, as well as finance, if those are the majors you're interested in.
So touching up, as Naga said, we do offer 5 majors for the Milgard School of Business: finance, marketing, management, general business, and accounting, as well as 2 master's programs, the first being your MBA, and then the second one being business analytics. So if you're interested in pursuing higher education, those are 2 master's programs that the Milgard School of Business offers for master's students. Also located in the Dugan building to the right is going to be the Office of Campus Safety and Security. So if you ever need an escort to your car at night, or if you need a classroom or study room open, contact campus security so that they can open those rooms for you. And then the pantry is also located in the Dugan building. So the pantry is a free resource to students in which you can pick up 10 free food items a week. So let's say like you ran out of funds or you forgot to bring lunch from home, you can get 10 free food items a week from the pantry. And then they also offer different types of products as well, like hygiene products, including toothpaste and shampoo. So if you happen to run out of that and you're also living in Court 17, the pantry also offers those types of products to you guys as well for free.
All right, so moving on, we have our library systems on campus. These are very important to our students, and we actually have 2 libraries on our campus. So we have our Tioga Library building, which I'll discuss first. So the main resource that students use for our Tioga Library is the fact that we have the ability to get books from any campus related to UW. So that means UW Seattle and UW Bothell. If you can't find a textbook here for any reason, we're actually able to go get them from those campuses, and then we can bring them into Tioga, and you guys can pick those books up as well. So in our main library, which is our Snoqualmie library, we have our TLC, which is our Teaching and Learning Center. This is an area where students can get free tutoring on any subject we teach here on campus. And even if you aren't able to go in for any reason, they do online tutoring as well. So definitely take advantage of that. The other resource I would definitely recommend for students is we have rooms that students can check out for, say, an hour or two. I've done that with a couple of my friends. We finished our coding homework and we got an A on it. So hopefully those really work. So I'm going to pass it over to Naga and Gabriel, and they'll tell you more about the Veteran and Military Services.
Awesome. Yeah, so located on the third floor of the Tioga Library Building is the VMRC, which is the Veteran Military Resource Center. So UW-Tacoma is ranked like top 10 most veteran-friendly campuses in the U.S. And so if you are a student who is currently using military benefits, or you are military affiliated, you are very welcome up there, and they can help you out with your benefits, any questions that you have. They also have pizza parties at least once a quarter, which is really awesome. And they do a lot more than just help out veterans and military affiliated students. They work a lot with entrepreneurship. So I'll go ahead and pass that off to Naga, and he can talk more in detail about that.
Yeah, thanks, Gabe. The Veterans Incubator for Better Entrepreneurship. It's called The Vibe. And each year they hold an annual competition. If you were an entrepreneur who just wants to create a startup or wants to find people who want to be involved with startups, it's a great resource for you to do. It's a competition where you pitch in front of investors, your friends, your family, and then local business leaders. And if you end up winning the competition, Vibe will personally give you $25,000 for your business, and it'll kickstart your dream. Basically, we had a winner 2 years back, Apple cider company made by local students as well as a veteran, and now they're making $500,000 in revenue. And it's an amazing success story that's coming straight out of the Veterans Incubator for Entrepreneurship and from the VRMC. And so living at Court 17 is one of my favorite things in the world. I have met some of my closest friends. All of my roommates that I've had for the last 4 years have been amazing. I don't have any horror success stories because every single night we either watch a movie or we play Super Smash Bros together, or like we get a bunch of people from on the dorms and we just hang out. And it's just a really fun time together. Specifically, if you get there's two different styles of rooms at Court 17. There's three styles. There's the 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, fully furnished kitchen with all the amenities included. And then there's the studio apartment. If you just want to live by yourself, you can also do that. I personally like living with 2 to 4 people just because it's never lonely, right? When I come home, I always have someone I can spend time with or hang out, and it's a really fun community to be at in Court 17. And then I'll let Austin and Matthew.
Yep, so like he was talking about, I have myself unmuted this time. Yeah. All right, so there are the 3 different options. So the 1 bed, 1 bath, the studio style, and then the 2 bed, 2 bath. Like Naga was saying, the amenities are included. So internet, garbage, electric, water, all of that's included within rent, which is super, super convenient. As well as, there we go. You can kind of see what the inside of that kind of looks like. Plenty of space if you want to have some friends over to hang out, or let's say you need to do a study session. It's a good place to do it. As well as it's a nice tight-knit community. We have our own in-apartment events that we do. So there'll be board game nights, video game nights. Usually it's with an RA, so resident assistant. Usually there's about 1 to 2 per floor to kind of help everything run smoothly at the apartment. So if you ever need any help, you can always run over to their apartment, knock on the door, ask for help. Maybe you just need a Tide Pod. I've done that. I've run over to my RA's door and I'm like, hey, I'm out of Tide Pods and I need one right now. Mind if I borrow one? And she was super cool with it. So Court 17 is a very, very nice environment to be living, be close to campus, and even if you want to pick up a job on campus, it keeps everything in a nice, close package. Matthew?
Yeah, definitely. I think they gave you guys some really great tips and resources. The last things I just like to point out are at Court 17, it's usually about a 5-minute walk from there to your classes. So if you guys ever want to just do a little sleeping in or you need to get that walk, it's very nice. Also, a lot of schools may require you to attend, your freshman year. You may have to live on campus. You do not have to do that at Court 17. If you choose to, great. If not, that's completely up to you. We have a lot of commuters just like Gabriel and Katrine. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then located right next to Court 17 is our University Y Center. This is basically like our student rec center. So included in every student's tuition is a Y membership, and that's good for every YMCA in the country. So like Matthew was saying before, I do commute to UW-Tacoma. I'm actually from Olympia, so let's say if I didn't want to drive up to Tacoma to go to the Y Center, I can go to a YMCA closer to my home. So that's awesome. It's just like any other YMCA you've been to. On the first floor, you have your machines, your weights, some cardio equipment. Upstairs on the second floor, you have some more cardio equipment, as well as our basketball court, our game room, which is very similar to the one in the Mattress Factory. So it has pool, ping pong. This one has a foosball table, pretty cool. And it also has TVs where you can rent out different games. Third floor, you have our indoor track. And then there's also the event center, or the event rooms up there, which different organizations on campus will utilize. So anything from club events to, we'll even have job fairs up there, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, there's also the Center for Student Involvement, which I will let Naga and Katrine talk more about that.
So at the University Y Center, there's this student involvement location. I was a part of ASUWT, which was the student government here at UW-Tacoma, and I was the director of legislative affairs. We basically created an affordable housing program here for the campus, as well as we created many voter registration drives to get people up and ready to vote. That was my job. And the really cool part about the Student Involvement Center is that there are so many people that there's all the clubs hang out there, all the different like SAB, Student Activity Board, and different players in the UW-Tacoma all hang out there. It's really fun. I made a lot of new friends there, as well as all of them are paid positions, right? So if you want to be a campus ambassador when you show up, please come through, please join us, or join the Student Activities Board, or join a club. Like, all of the getting involved on campus is one of the best experiences that I've had, and I made so many awesome friends through it. And yeah, I'll let Katrine say the rest.
So just reiterating, the Center for Student Involvement is housed in the University Y. So if you want to be part of an RSO, a registered student organization, go check out the CSI to see what organizations you can join. And if there's a club or an organization that you saw in high school or community college that UW-T does not offer, you can start that club here at UW-T yourself. One of my colleagues from another campus job started Dungeons and Dragons Club at Tacoma Community College. When she came to UW-T, we did not have a Dungeons and Dragons Club, but with the help of the CSI, 4 friends, and an advisor, you can start a club here, which my friend did. My friend Bridget started the Dungeons and Dragons Club. You can even apply for funds too, to feed members of your club, but all those details you can check out at the Center for Student Involvement.
Perfect. So Pac Ave, or Pacific Avenue, as we like to call it, we do have 3 coffee shops on campus. Anthem right across Pac Ave, Starbucks again right next to the University Bookstore, and then we have Metro Cafe up the stairs to your left, kind of like underneath the Tioga Library building, as well as we have about 20 different restaurants. I personally like Zeke's Pizza. If you show them your Husky ID card, you do get a cool special where I think it's like $5 a piece, and they're big pieces of pizza, so it's awesome. As well as we have cool little, shops down there. Again, if you show them your ID, you do get a discount as well. And then since we're deeply embedded into the Tacoma community, we do also like to support our small businesses, as I previously mentioned. And then as well as we do have museum, like the art museum, where again, if you show them your ID, you can get in for free. On Thursdays, it is open to the public every third Thursday, as well as the Washington History Museum and the Glass Museum as well. And then the light rail station, I personally commute to the campus as well. I live in Puyallup, so it's a good 20-25 minute commute. What I personally like to do is park at the Tacoma Dome, ride the light rink all the way, light rail station all the way to the Union Station, which drops you off right in front of the university. From there, you avoid, parking around the university. Or if you have a train station like the Sounder train passes by your city, what I do is, again, in the Husky card, it comes with the U-Pass, kind of like an Orca card. You can commute there from the train, drops you off right in front of the Tacoma Dome Link station, and then it drops you off right in front of the school as well. So you avoid, again, traffic, rush hour traffic, and morning traffic commute. Again, if you and your friends want to go to the Apple Cup this upcoming year, what you guys can do is, or last year what we did was we rode the train to the Seattle station, King Street station, and then rode the link to the university. So yeah, again, the Orca Pass, the Pac Ave, it's kind of like a hub where there's transportation as well as supporting our small businesses here in Tacoma. So next slide, please. And then I'm going to hand it over to Maya and Janet to talk more about the next steps. I hope you guys all enjoyed our virtual tour.
Hello, everyone. Welcome again, admitted students. I will be explaining the next steps for admitted students. So our first one, actually, let me have Janet introduce herself first.
I'm Janet De La Cruz.
Hi, so we have sent out this sheet in your admitted packets. So the first thing to go over is to create your UW Tacoma profile. So with that, you are going to be creating your UW Net ID and your UW email. And this is important because you do want to check it early and you want to check it often. We are going to send all official emails to your UW email, and it also gives you access to your My UW, which you have access to financial aid and registration options.
Next on here is Attend Admitted Student Day. You're all attending Admitted Student Day through this virtual event, and we're really glad that we're able to connect with you all this way.
And then next on here, we have pay the new student enrollment and orientation fee. We encourage every student to pay the NSEOF by May 1st. Yeah, and you do that by following the link there.
Another option for the NSCOF is actually deferring that payment to your financial aid. All you need to do is complete a form, and if you do need that form, feel free to contact our office. Next on the list is apply for financial aid and scholarships. Ideally, you would all already apply for financial aid through the FAFSA or WAFSA. If you haven't already, I encourage you to do so. It's going to be the best way that you ensure having access to more financial aid opportunities at UWT. And like Maya mentioned, you are able to view your financial aid award through your My UW portal.
Yes. And then the next step would be send a final official transcript. So after you're done with classes, there should be a counselor you can outreach to where they can send the official transcripts to our campus here.
So at UW Tacoma, students are required to take a math placement test. This is to ensure that you're placed in the correct math classes when you do have to take those. Another test available at UW Tacoma, which is optional, is the writing directed self-placement. Again, this is just to ensure that you're placed in classes that match your skill.
If you do require a certain accommodation, please contact the Disability Resources for Students. If you need any of that before classes start, they are great resources to find those accommodations before going into classes. And to coordinate services before classes begin, follow the email listed there or contact through phone as well.
All right, next on the list is register for registration and advising days at UW Tacoma. Currently, these are still scheduled to happen in person, but please do check your emails frequently for any updates. Those updates should be coming from the Student Transitions Office. And then later, you'll also be attending orientation. orientations where you will take your picture for your Husky ID card, learn more about resources, have the opportunity to buy textbooks from the bookstore, and just get more acquainted with campus before classes start in the fall.
The next would be to return the measles immunity verification form included in your admissions packet. You're required to provide proof of measles immunity in order to register for classes.
Any student interested in applying to our on-campus housing, that application is open now. The priority date has been extended to June 1st. If you are thinking about living in Court 17, I do encourage you to submit that application as soon as possible.
And finally, to meet the utilization requirement, follow the link below, and the deadline is the first day of the quarter. If you do have any additional questions, you can contact New Student Programs with the contact down below there.
Alrighty, up next is a Q&A panel with our current campus ambassadors. So the first question, I think this is probably great for Naga, Austin, or Matthew to answer because it is about campus housing. So after you have already submitted your application, what comes next? So are you matched with your roommate? How do you learn about your placement? What's the timeline?
Yeah, so usually what they do, if you don't already have like friends that you want to room with that year, they'll have you take a personality test to try and match you up with someone you're going to be able to live with, as well as they do ask some sort of questions. So like, do you want to be matched with other people that are specific in your major and stuff along those lines? After that, I'd say honestly, after the first year, you tend to get a good feel for the people in the apartment, and you tend to meet some good friends there and end up living with them. That's what happened with Matthew and I. And then I actually met Naga my freshman year. He moved into the apartment I was currently in. And even this year, all three of us were living in the same apartment. So it's a nice community. Timeline. Do either of you remember how long it usually takes for them to get back?
I don't really recall how long it does. It's usually within like a month or so. They'll let you know before like school begins and everything, so you have that time to get that together. It's just make sure. I believe they charge you a certain maintenance fee when you. It's just a confirmation to make sure that like we accepted you in the housing. We need to make sure that you are still going to be in housing with us, and you'll just need to make sure you pay that. But it's usually, I say around, since they extended it, it might take into July or August or so, but you'll definitely get those results back pretty quickly.
Alrighty, next question here. How easy is it to create a club?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll help answer that. So it's not actually that hard. Like I think Katrine actually mentioned it too. All you'll need to do is get you 4 other people and a sponsor, and you can make whatever club you want to make. It's just making sure that we ask those 5 people because you're making that government in the club. A president, a VP, a treasurer, those kind of things to help that club exist and continue on.
Alrighty, so before we move on to the next question, I see here that we're receiving questions from revising. Please know that there'll be a section later on with Kira King, who is an academic advisor here at UW-Tacoma. Next question here is, how easy was the transition to college?
It was pretty hard for me because like my freshman year, like I wasn't very good at math or whatever. And I didn't think high school prepared me at all for, how intense kind of like the college professors want, and how like fast assignments are due and kind of how difficult. It was kind of surprising because like this is a 10-week, because we're in a quarter system. And so it's 10 weeks and everything is kind of fast paced, which works for me because I was from a semester high school and I didn't like how slow everything was. But like when there was like 10 weeks and you have to like grind everything out really quickly, I just developed better when there's more pressure. And so for me, college was in the first quarter terrible. My GPA was not good. My the first math test I got was a 2 out of 10. So there's that. But once I got past that and once I learned how to learn, which is the first thing that you want to do in college, learn that and you will be set for the next 4 years. Learn your learning style and everything else would be easy. That's my best advice for you guys.
I'm wondering if Daniela, you can talk a little bit about your transition since you did experience Running Start. So maybe that was a little different for you.
Yeah. So coming in as a Running Start student, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking because depending on how many credits you have, you can go straight into a junior or straight into a sophomore. More unlike some of your peers that, start off as a freshman. Either way, going into, my first quarter here, I still felt as if I'm a freshman all over again. But what I do recommend, my best tip for Running Start students is once you go into, your major that you want to go into, that you've applied to, or that, some majors don't need to apply into the program. But once you get invested into the major that you're in, start building connections. I think my best advice is do study groups as much as you can. If once you have, peers in your classroom, start building bonds with them, because at the end of the day, you guys can all, do an assignment together, help each other out, etc. And then they can help you as well on how to learn, as Naga said, because coming in, you gotta learn your ways and what helps you more to learn and grasp information, etc. So again, coming into as a freshman, as a Running Start student, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking because depending on how many credits you have, you can just go straight into your program. Again, my biggest tip that helped me once I started into the criminal justice program is to build, relationships, because at the end of the day, even after college, you will have strong relationships with those individuals and encourage each other, etc.
How flexible can schedule?
Was the question how flexible schedules can be?
Yes. So how flexible can class schedules be, especially for those commuting?
Okay, so class schedules can be very custom, tailor-made to you. So usually classes, at least the ones I tend to choose, are kind of a 1:30 to 3:30. There's kind of a 2 times per week: Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. Sometimes there's Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Sometimes there's every day for the week for like an hour. It's all on how you want to set up your courses and what's available that quarter. So I'd definitely say it's very flexible in that way.
Yeah, I was wondering if Gabriel could also respond to this question, since you do have your commute slightly longer.
Yeah. I definitely agree. It is very flexible. So, it kind of just depends on what you're looking for. So me personally, I'm more of a morning person, so I like to have classes as early as possible, usually anytime from 8 a.m. until about noon. But depending on whether you're not a morning person or let's say you work in the morning, whatever else it might be, there are night classes available as well. And it's really nice because, let's say in my program, the IT program, the first year that you're in is a cohort system. So all students, they'll take the same classes, and they'll offer those classes morning time as well as nighttime, because they're aware that a lot of students are either working or, they just tailor it so, you'll have the opportunity to take those courses, sometimes even online courses. So yeah, extremely flexible. It just kind of depends on what time you want to go to classes. And yeah.
All right. And I think, Gabriel, maybe you can answer this question too, since I know you spend time at the Y. Are there any intramural sports or clubs at the YMCA?
Yes, we do have intramural clubs and sports. I know at the Y we have basketball, volleyball, some other ones I'm not remembering off the top of my head. So those are located at the Y, but if there's a sport that you're interested in and it's not at the Y, there's a good chance that we have a club for it. And if we don't, like we were saying earlier, it's super easy to start a club. For example, we don't have soccer at the Y available. So, we had a soccer club that was really active my freshman and sophomore year. Right now we have a wrestling club. It's pretty active. We have a lifting club that happens at the Y that's very active as well. So yeah, we don't have the D1 sports in Seattle, but we have those intramural and club sports, and yeah, they're They're a lot of fun.
How early can you start applying to campus jobs?
I think that kind of depends on the campus job you're looking for or looking at. So specifically for our positions, usually we like you to have at least, I think it's 1 quarter or a year at UWT, so you kind of know the campus, have a feeling for the campus before you start giving kind of tours like us. However, I believe other positions might not necessarily need that to get you started into the position. But that's my understanding of what you might need to get a job on campus.
Yeah, usually a lot of jobs open up in the springtime. That's because a lot of seniors are graduating during that time period. But there are a lot of job openings that occur in the fall. Specifically, this fall, I believe we're going to get more job offers just because of everything. But yeah, I strongly recommend it. You get paid for all the jobs, and it's really fun. You can meet all the students around campus.
All right, Daniela, you mentioned that you were going to be studying abroad. Can you talk a little bit more about those options on campus?
Yeah, so studying abroad, depending on what program you're interested in, for example, the criminal justice program, we're going to Ireland in the fall. Again, each program is different. I know there were some that were taking place in the summer, some in winter quarter. Again, the Global Affairs, they have a website filled with the different programs that they're studying abroad to different countries. I'm pretty sure you don't even have to major in that program to get into that program, if that makes sense. But however, for the criminal justice aspect, the process was, we applied. There's, again, like a deadline. From there, they send you an email saying, hey, we're interested in, your application. Could we do an interview? And then, of course, you can schedule the interview. Sometimes it is individual. Sometimes it's a group interview. Just again, for the application, it's like 2 to 3 essays on why you think, you can manage, studying abroad, and if you've been to other different countries, etc., as well as a recommendation letter from a professor, faculty, or staff from UWT, or if you've been a Running Start student from, a peers college. Again, you can always ask the program coordinators for that, and then they'll help you with that as well. At least for my program coordinators, they said that was fine. From there, the interview process, mine was a group interview. So they had us write down, a list of questions that they emailed us on what they'd like to hear from us. From there, we answer the questions, and originally it was going to be like 14 people being accepted into the program. However, since 26 people or 22 people applied for it, all 22 made it into the program. So again, depending, I guess, the more people available interested in that program, the more easier it is with funding wise. Afterwards, you do have to submit a contract saying, yes, I am for sure going to study abroad. From there, you schedule, an appointment with Courtney or one of the other financial people located in the Global Affairs program. They'll help you how to finance it. For example, scholarships. A lot of them have been sending me scholarships. I've been applying as much scholarships as I can to finance it, as well as, if you have financial aid, how to communicate with the financial aid office as well, and how to fund those as well. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for answering that question. I'm going to have Katrine and Naga answer the next question. So how do you enroll in classes, and how do you pick a major?
Naga, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You got it, Katrine.
So I'm just going to touch up a little bit on my background, academic history. I didn't want to pursue higher education. I started off at TCC, and then I was going to go to a technical school to get a dental assistant certification. But it wasn't until I started taking classes at TCC. I was only taking science classes, which, not going to lie, I wasn't really passionate about that. So I started taking art classes. I was dabbling in business. I was dabbling in philosophy as well. And then after taking those classes, because some of those classes are actually pre-wet classes, for you to obtain your associate's degree. After exploring those different options, I realized that I did have a love for business, and being born and raised here in Tacoma, UW was like such a fantastic option for me. It wasn't too far from home. Tuition was not that expensive since I'm already an in-state student. But picking that major after taking so many classes at TCC, especially some classes that like I said, wasn't passionate about, just felt like such a smoother transition. No going back. I love all my classes. And then in terms of like picking classes, so that you can do online or on your MyUW. I forget what it's called, but you can look up the courses for every single quarter. They usually plan out all the courses that they offer for the entire academic year. So you can plan what courses you want to take every quarter for the whole year, spring, fall, and winter. So if, for instance, some classes are only offered specific quarters. For instance, as a business student, they offer a capstone class that you can only take when you're graduating your senior year. So you have to save that class for like the very last quarter before you graduate. But they usually offer like other classes like interpersonal skills that can be offered like multiple quarters. It just depends, like, would you rather take it in the fall or would you rather take it in the winter? Naga, do you want to touch up on anything?
I think you brought up amazing points. Basically, my freshman year, I kept doing my prerequisites for the computer science program, so I didn't take any of the required courses for UW. And so when I wanted to get into the business school, I had to do all the prerequisites for that. So it wasn't until my senior year that I took my first sociology class or my first diversity class, and I kind of do regret that because I love learning about philosophy, sociology, like this whole different aspect that you don't really get when you're just fully focused on, computer science or business or any of your degrees. And so I'm really thankful for UW for kind of like requiring that of us. But other than that, my whole thing about scheduling for classes, you have to wake up I usually wake up 10 minutes before because we have to schedule classes around 6 a.m. And it really depends on how many credits that you have. So if you're a senior, you're going to register earlier on in the quarter, while if you're a freshman, you're going to be, later on in the quarter. And here at UW Tacoma, there's not too much of a competition to get into your class. And if your class is full, you can always email the professor and let them know, like, hey, I really need this because it fits my schedule. I've done that a couple times, and professors are very accommodating to your schedule, especially if you have a work schedule that isn't too accommodating for our school. Our professors can work with you. And all of our advisors have been so amazing, especially the first couple, your first 2 years before you get into your major. You're going to have one of our academic advisors, lay out your first 4 years of your here at UW Tacoma. And that's been amazing. And then when you want to go specifically into computer science or your business school, there's separate advisors for them. So make sure that you're in contact with your academic advisor as well as your specific major advisor. That's all I got to say about that.
Alrighty, I'm gonna ask one more question, and this is gonna be for all ambassadors. Is there something special about UW Tacoma that you're gonna remember once you've graduated?
So this sounds a little cliche. Oh,
yeah. No, you can go first, Austin. Okay, sure. I'll go first, and then we can give it off to Austin. Yeah. So for me, I would definitely put the connections. As Gabe was kind of talking about, I'm in the IT program as well. So the first, my cohort, we always have conversations. We have Discords. We're always talking about our classes. So just those connections, and these guys I work with as well. Some are roommates, some are great friends. So just having those connections is something I will always remember.
he kind of touched on it. So I really, really value all the connections I've made here, friends, all the stuff I've learned. I've built up, I guess, myself. So initially coming in as a bit of an introvert, specifically, that didn't sound right. But I took this position to try and grow and be more social with everything around me, and college, this job, and other jobs have helped me to kind of become a better person, and some of it is thanks to going to college, and I really do value that.
Maybe if I can hear from two other people.
Yeah, I could say kind of on the same page of the community, whether it's the other students or professors, or even like my work team here. You guys have really risen my standards. I won't work anywhere else unless I have a team as awesome as you guys. But, even with professors, it seemed like all of them really wanted their students to succeed. So I always really appreciate that from them. And just the, community that you find and how easy it is to find those communities. Just really enjoyed my time here at UW-Tacoma.
So I'm going to put my little snippet of, why I enjoy UWT a lot, just again, like the community feel, as well as I really enjoy the criminal justice program. It really is a unique aspect. It helped me determine what career I wanted to pursue later on in life. And just like, again, coming here, even from like on my admitted day, which was last year, I just felt this welcoming feeling on campus. Later on, I got, a campus job, and it was just a very awesome feeling. I love this job. I love all my coworkers, and it was just an amazing experience, and still I cherish it to this day.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Daniela. Thank you to all the ambassadors for sharing their experience so far. And up next, I'm going to hand it off to my wonderful colleague, Navia Winderling. She'll be moderating the next Q&A session. And several of you sent some questions that we didn't answer during the student Q&A, and so they'll be answered in this next section.
Thank you, Janet. Hey, everyone. As Janet said, my name is Navia. I'm an admissions advisor at UWT and a proud UWT alum. I have the pleasure of transitioning you guys to our 2 presentations. We have some wonderful folks from financial aid and university academic advising. As we mentioned, we are going to have questions at the very end of both presentations. So, Isabel Musgrove with the Office of Student Financial Aid, please take it away.
All right, there we go. Thank you so much, Navi. I appreciate that. Like she said, my name is Isabel Musgrove, and I'm a program assistant with the Office of Student Financial Aid. And today we have a presentation for you guys. And this presentation was put together because oftentimes we get a lot of commonly asked questions by incoming freshmen and new transfer students. And so we put this together in hopes that it will clarify and answer a lot of questions that you guys might be having as you're preparing, to get ready for coming to UWT and then getting your financial aid awards ready. So if we can go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so our agenda today is we're going to go over using your MyUW account to check your financial aid status. We're going to talk about verification forms, what those are, and then how you can go about submitting those to us using our secure document upload portal. We're also going to talk about timeline. So we're timeline and disbursements. This is always an important question for parents whenever they're getting ready to kind of figure out how to pay tuition and things like that and budgeting. Then we're going to go over some scholarships and then open it up, I believe, for questions at the end. Next slide. All right, using your MyUW tools. So the Office of Student Financial Aid will primarily communicate with you through your MyUW portal and your student email account. And so if you've had the chance to set that up, great. It's going to be a very beneficial tool and resource to you throughout your time here. If you're receiving financial aid, it's going to be somewhere that you're going to be able to go and reference and kind of track the status of your financial aid as you go throughout your career. Oftentimes, you'll get messages in your MyUW portal, and those messages are notifications that correspond to emails that we have sent to your student email account. So if you're showing messages in your MyUW portal at this time that you need to take action on some type of document or turning in something, some clarification letters to us, that is essentially letting you know you should be checking your MyUW email. And in those emails, we're providing you with detailed instructions and also sometimes links if we're asking for documents. So just make sure that you're checking that. Other thing I wanted to talk about is check your spam folder. I'm not sure why this happens, but oftentimes, maybe our emails are boring, but oftentimes students will get our financial aid emails and it will go into their spam folder. And so if you have the opportunity to go in and add us as a contact or select it so that it is not spam, so that those emails go into your priority inbox and you're not missing out on anything that we've been trying to communicate with you. All right, next slide. Perfect. So this is your MyUW Financial Aid Status tab. This is inside your MyUW portal. This is what I was talking about earlier. That's going to be very helpful and very beneficial. So if you can see right here on this main page, you can see that we're on selected on the Messages tab. So this is what I was talking about when I was saying that you have notifications that oftentimes correspond to an email. So this right here, these are the notifications in your MyUW kind of letting you know. This is also where you would be able to take a look at what your cost of attendance is, looking at your award that's being offered to you, the status of your award. We will also let you know if you have documents that are required for verification in here. This right here, if you have questions and you have not received your financial aid award yet, or you have questions about it, this is a place that you can go. I would definitely encourage you, if you haven't already had the chance, to go in and explore and poke around and kind of go through all of this. It's super important information and oftentimes can kind of answer your questions that you may have. If you do go through this and it is confusing, because I know it can be, don't hesitate to give us a call during our normal business hours. Any one of our financial aid counselors can walk you through this entire portal and kind of just make you feel a little bit more empowered and confident in using this resource. Next slide. Verification forms. Why are you asking for verification forms? So if you've received a notification and an email letting you know that you've been selected for verification, so every year students fill out their FAFSA applications, and then every year we are required as a university to verify the information that you put on your FAFSA application. So that's why we're asking for these documents. And so to verify your eligibility for financial aid, we need these documents in, and it's always better that we get them in as soon as possible, because the sooner we get these documents in, the sooner we can finalize your award and your eligibility for financial aid and notify you that you've been awarded. It is still early in the year, especially for students coming in fall, to have plenty of time to get these documents sent to us and prepared and things. If you have questions or you're having trouble getting these documents, please don't hesitate again to reach out to us. We can definitely assist you with kind of some steps in going about and getting those resolved. And then submitting those documents, we can go to the next slide. So submitting documents. So the University of Washington and the Office of Financial Aid has what we call is our secure document upload portal. And so when you go onto our homepage at tacomauw.edu/financial aid, you'll see on our homepage that big purple button that says Secure Document Upload Portal. Any tax documents, any passport information that we're requesting, any of those verification forms that you need to submit, we ask that you use this link and this tool to upload those sensitive items. It's the most secure way to do that. We, for security reasons, can't accept these documents through email attachments, and you don't want to be sending things like that through email anyways, just to it's just going to compromise things for you. At one point, we were accepting documents by mail. However, because of everything that's been going on and for obvious health reasons, we are no longer accepting documents via mail. We don't have the access to our campus like we had before. And so this is actually the quickest way to get those documents submitted to us. Next slide. Awards and timelines. Perfect. So when will I receive my award? So most freshmen should have already received their award, so long as you are a priority applicant and you filled your FAFSA out before the January 15th priority deadline. It's not too late. If you haven't received your award, just make sure that you get your FAFSA completed and then you're getting everything submitted to us that is needed to. So this is just I'll just briefly go over the newly admitted because that's what this is for, is our freshmen today. And so, like I said, you guys should have your awards sometime between March and April. And then if you haven't, definitely reach out and contact us so we can kind of take a look at your student files to see what is missing or what we need to do as far as the next step to get this process moving forward. Next slide. Aid disbursement. So this is always a great question that we get from parents and students trying to figure out how to plan and budget for tuition throughout the year. And so aid typically disperses 1 week prior to the start of the quarter, so long as you've met all the necessary requirements and criteria. One of those requirements is signing up for a direct deposit. This is not required. Just know that it does kind of streamline the process if a student is receiving financial aid that is more than the cost of their tuition, and then that money, essentially extra money that they would get that could go to potentially like books and supplies and other educational costs. This is just a helpful resource to be able to have those funds go direct deposit to an account. If you don't set it up, that's fine. What will happen is the address on file that we have is where a check will get mailed out to you if additional funds are available to you. Getting all holds cleared. So oftentimes students will have registration holds or a financial aid hold. And so just making sure that you're reading those notifications carefully and really determining whether it is a financial aid hold. If you do have a financial aid hold on your account, definitely you want to contact us so we can get that kind of figure it out and kind of walk you through those steps as well. And then taking the minimum credit load. So if you haven't had a chance to go onto our website, I would definitely encourage you to do that. And if you have a pen or paper right now, I would write down this policy. So it's called the Satisfactory Academic Progress Policy, mouthful. And so this is going to be a very resourceful tool for you to print it off, keep it on your refrigerator, keep it by your side so that you know what is required of you as far as credit requirements and GPA to maintain your financial aid. So it's one thing getting your financial aid, and it's a whole nother process maintaining that financial aid. So like I said, if you have a chance and you get onto our website, go into the search bar and type in Satisfactory Academic Progress Policy, and then I would just encourage you to print it off, go through it. If you have questions about it, reach out to us and we can definitely explain it to you. And then our last one is loan-specific requirements. Oh, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So loan-specific requirements. So loans for students who are offered federal student loans and accepting these federal student loans, it's a three-step process. So the first process is one, accepting your federal loan in your MyUW portal on your financial aid award. And then the other two steps, you actually have to be redirected to the studentaid.gov website. And you have to complete the master promissory note and entrance counseling. And what those are is the entrance counseling is essentially kind of a video, like a check on learning that kind of explains to you what smart borrowing is, making sure that you understand that you know that you are taking out a federal loan on behalf of your education from the federal government. It will collect interest and you are required to pay it back. And then your master promissory note is essentially the legal documentation that you sign agreeing to those terms and conditions of the loan. And so all three of those steps are required for your loans to disperse. Next slide. And scholarships. We oftentimes get these questions all the time. So our UW-Tacoma freshman scholarships, or UW-Tacoma Freshman Merit Scholarship awardees have actually already been notified by mail. So if you are one of the recipients and you received a letter in the mail letting you know that you are being awarded a merit scholarship, in that letter was a link to your acceptance application. And so make sure that if you haven't had a chance to do that already, that you go into that Catalyst link and you accept it. So it's one thing that we offer it to you, but it's super important that you actually follow the steps in that letter and actually commit to accepting it. If you receive that letter and if you've lost it, or if you think you might have received one and maybe possibly moved during the time that you got it and then till now, and then maybe or got lost in the transition, if you think you might be a recipient, contact us and we can look at we can verify your information and send you the link if you are a recipient of a merit scholarship. And then our UW-Tacoma General Scholarship. So the UW-Tacoma General Scholarship is open to all students, undergrads and graduate students who are Washington State residents and who are financial aid eligible. And so this is one of the biggest awards that comes out of our financial aid office every year. It's up to $2,000. It's actually located on our website. So if you search on our website and then type in the search bar UW-Tacoma General Scholarship, it'll bring it up. It'll provide you with the application and it'll provide you with the details of that scholarship. And what this scholarship is, why we call it the General Scholarship, is that you are essentially applying for, you're completing one application and you are applying for multiple scholarships. And so to make it easier on students, because we know you're probably going through multiple scholarship applications like Daniela was saying earlier, we just tried to make it easier with just this one application. And then applying for other scholarships. You can also visit our website under the scholarships page, and we're going to have resources on there as well of other places that you can apply for scholarships, to include the programs that you're admitting into, as well as outside resources as well. And then how to let us know if you're receiving any outside scholarships. So it's super important if students are receiving an outside scholarship from the university that they notify us. And the reason why is that it's important for us to know that you're receiving a scholarship from, let's say, the Lions Club. Like you're getting a scholarship for $1,000 from the Lions Club, so that we can take that into account of resources that you have to pay for your tuition. And so that's just super important for us to make sure that we're properly awarding you. Next slide. And that completes my presentation. I know it was super short and sweet, but I know we oftentimes get a lot of questions with financial aid. So we just wanted to kind of touch on some of those main points that we often find new freshmen struggling with. If you have any personal questions when it comes to your financial aid award that you don't want to address in this webinar, we definitely want to still be able to make sure we're getting you moving in the right direction. So this is the best way to contact us. So I would definitely recommend that you email us or give us a phone call during our normal business hours. And we also have live chat available.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Isabel. That was great information. We are getting so many questions about advising and registration right now, so I am so happy that our next presenter is Kira King with University Academic Advising. Kira, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Navia. All right, so thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon for Academic Advising. As Navia mentioned, my name is Kira King, so if we just go to the next slide. A little bit about me. I am an academic advisor in University Academic Advising. So I have the pleasure of primarily working with freshmen and pre-major students. So those of you who have not yet declared a major get to work with me and my team in University Academic Advising. I'm also an affiliate faculty member in the School of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences. So I have the pleasure of teaching a major in career exploration class called TUNIV 250, as well as my colleagues in UAA. So in the next few minutes here, we're going to be talking about several things. So if we just go ahead and go to the next slide. We're going to be talking in general about what academic advising is at UW-Tacoma. We're going to talk about next steps specifically for academic advising, and then we're going to open up to general questions for both Isabel and I. So for UW-Tacoma, academic advising, and we get this question a lot, what do you all do, right? We are here to help students identify personal, academic, and professional goals. So for those of you who don't know what you want to do when you grow up, don't know what you want to major in, don't know who you want to be, it's okay. I promise you have a home at UW-Tacoma in academic advising, and we're here to help you navigate through all of that. We're also here to help students navigate university systems and several resources. As a freshman and running START student, you'll get to meet with your academic advisor every single quarter during your first year on campus. And there's going to be a lot of new systems that you're learning and a lot of new resources that you're learning and becoming familiar with. We're a central point on campus to help you navigate all of that and learn about all the various opportunities that might be available to you. We also help students with their academic journey. So as some of our wonderful campus ambassadors mentioned, both in the tour and then in the Q&A session, we are here to also help you figure out what types of classes you need, any prerequisites, any major requirements, and really create a detailed plan for those of you who know what you want to study. And for those of you who don't know yet what you want to major in, that's okay. I was one of those students when I was a student a long time ago. I had no idea what I wanted to study. Advisors are here to help you explore through all of that as well. So in general, we're just here to support you throughout your time at UW-Tacoma. We offer things like one-on-one advising, we offer group advising, we offer workshop series, we offer one-on-one time management workshops, group workshops, and then we also teach a class as well every single quarter. So lots of opportunities to connect with us. Now, in terms of who your advisor is, advising is split up into two different ways, as some of the campus ambassadors were speaking about earlier. We have folks who work with students who are yet to declare a major, and then we have folks who work in specific departments. So for freshman students, those of you who have not yet declared a student, I'm going to go to the next slide. That would be great. Freshmen and people who have not yet declared a major get to work with university academic advising. So you work with myself and my colleagues here in this image. We're located in GWP 102 on campus. Within our department, your advisor is determined by the first letter of your last name. So in just a minute, I'll pull up a slide that'll show you who your advisor is if you are a freshman or pre-major student. All of our appointments are scheduled online, and we will walk you through how to do this when we have our new student summer advising event that you'll get more details about in just a minute here. So if we go to the next slide, freshmen and pre-major advisors, there is a team of 5 advisors in our office. So if you're a freshman with last letters, your last name is A through E, you're gonna work with Isabella Webb. I've put up her email up here for you in case you wanna reach out ahead of time. If you're a freshman and pre-major student with your last name beginnings with letters F through L, you're going to work with Michelle Earthright. If you're a freshman and pre-major student with last name beginning M through Q, you're going to work with Will Taylor. I advise students with last names R through X in our office. And Lorraine Donnell works with students with last names Y through Z. So these are all of our contact information. I encourage you to reach out early. The other side of that for folks who have been admitted to their major or are major ready, so this might include some of you, if you're a running start student, you might be major ready or directly admitted to your major already. You're going to work with our academic program advisors directly. If you are a running start student, we will let you know if you're major ready or not, so you should be receiving email communication from both the department and university academic advising in May, letting you know who your advisor is going to be. So in general, some of our program advisors, just so you get to see their faces on campus. We can go to the next slide. Our Milgard School of Business, our advisors are Carrie, Melody, and Anne-Marie. They're up here on the top left-hand side. If you are interested in our healthcare leadership program on campus as an undergrad, you'll get to work with Lindsay McBride. For folks who are interested in social work and criminal justice, you'll work with both Dana Childs and Jill Hansen. And any folks who are interested in urban studies will work with Carmen Wilson on campus. Our remaining academic advisors and program advisors are within the School of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences. We've got Heather, Suzanne, Erica, Susan, and Karin. They all advise students based on specific majors within the School of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences, so we will get you connected to them if you're one of their students. And then finally, if you are in our Institute of Technology, you'll work with both David and Beth on campus. So in addition to pro staff advising, we also have peer advisors, known as student advising mentors, or SAMs, we like to call them. These folks are available for one-on-one sessions and drop-ins, quick questions every single day on campus. So if you've got a quick question like, how do I physically register? I already know what classes I need, I just don't remember how to use the system. You can stop by, see a SAM, and they're happy to show you how to do this. You've got questions like, how do I use my MyPlan and DARS, which are some of our technology tools on campus? They're happy to walk you through that. During our time being remote, they are doing Zoom drop-in sessions as well. So just because our office right now is closed to the public, we are all still helping students virtually, and you can still reach out to us Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 p.m. Okay, so that's a little bit about advising in general at UW-Tacoma. So now we're going to talk about some specific next steps for academic advising. I know that folks earlier talked in general about admissions next steps, but here are some specific academic advising ones. If you are a running start student or a freshman student, so you don't have any college credits, you're going to be attending new student advising and registration this upcoming summer. All of our events are going to be done through Zoom for this, and you'll be getting more email communication about all of the different dates, time opportunities, and what you need to do to plan for this event sometime in the middle of May. So be checking your UW email frequently, especially starting early May. There's a myriad of dates available to help you through this, but we understand some of you have vacation plans or aren't able to commit to any of those times, and that's okay. There are plenty of other opportunities to connect with your advisor. All you want to do is just schedule a one-on-one appointment with your advisor, and there's more details about that in the email. Summer advising is mandatory for all freshmen and running start students to get registered. So during this time, we're going to talk about how to register for classes, any incoming credit you might have, and help get you started. So you'll leave the day fully registered, which is exciting. So some ways to prepare for this day now, as I encourage you to come prepared. If you are a go-getter and you've already been looking in your MyPlan and your MyUW, you may have run across something called MyPlan, which is how we look for classes, plan classes, and register for them. You might have found your degree audit if you're a running start student or have been working with one of our admissions advisors at the community college. You may have found the time schedule, which is a list of the classes that is offered for autumn. And so if you've already found that, great. I encourage you to take a look at them. If you have not found them yet, it's okay, don't fret. I promise during the summer new student advising and registration event, we're gonna walk you through how to use these tools. But I encourage you moving forward after that first time to take a look and come prepared. I also encourage you to come with questions. So if you're thinking about internships, study abroad, if you're thinking about any research opportunities, double majoring, minoring, things like that, please share that with us because together we can make a plan so that it all fits together. I also encourage you to take notes. We'll go over quite a bit of information together, so please bring a pen and paper, or if you're someone who likes to take notes electronically, just have that ready to available for us for the advising appointment and registration. So thank you all so much. I'm going to turn it back over to Navia for the Q&A session.
Just joking. I was muted, but I'm back. You can hear me. I hope that was informative. Now the whole crew is going to be available to answer questions, and we've got a lot to get to. So let's start right away. Hopefully you guys remember that number and it'll flash on the screen. So if you find something that you want to ask, do it right now. Let's start with Isabel. Can you receive aid from UW-T towards study abroad programs if you are a Husky Promise student?
Good question. So how this kind of works is if you were receiving financial aid, how it applies, and this is just this is going to be different for each student depending on how your financial aid award looks. But oftentimes, if your study abroad course is a full-time course, which is 12 credits or more, your financial aid will disperse at full-time during that study abroad, and it can be applied toward your study abroad program fees. And so that's the gist of how it works. However, your financial aid is never going to be enough to cover a full study abroad. So students will have to look at other resources and oftentimes federal student loans to kind of cover the full cost of those study abroad trips.
Wonderful. Thank you. Next up, this one is for Kira, and I do think you kind of answered this, but we'll ask again. With previous college credits, will I be able to see my degree plan prior to registering for classes?
That is a great question. The short answer is yes. So if you have any incoming Running Start credits or college credits, you can use a system called MyPlan. And I know any of the admissions advisors are happy to walk you through how you would use that as a current community college student and Running Start student. So that'll share with you how your credits transfer into UW-Tacoma. Part of the registration process as well is you're going to be uploading an unofficial copy of your Running Start transcript. So advising is going to take a look at that already and have some classes planned for you to take before you register the first time. So you'll already know what you need to take, and then together in a one-on-one appointment, likely over the summer, we can go much more in depth about how every single thing transfers once you take your final quarter at community college.
So great. And yes, we love the MyPlan tool. If you're a Running Start student and you need assistance or want to learn more, let us know. We're happy to help. This one is going to be for Isabel again. Should we accept loans even if we don't know if we'll need them?
That's a good question. So if you don't know that you will need them, it doesn't hurt whether or not you accept it or not. So the great thing with student federal loans is even if you were to decline or reject them right now, if let's say later on down the road, 2 weeks from now, 4 days from now, you say, okay, actually I am going to need those student loans, all you have to do is contact us and let us know that you would like those federal loans reinstated. Oftentimes we'll get students who will go ahead and just reject it so that they can kind of get that like out of their mind, knowing that, okay, this isn't going towards the cost of my tuition, and just being able to look at your grants and scholarships. But just know you can always ask that they be reinstated later on at any time, as long as we're within the quarter and you are registered.
Thank you, Isabel. And I do want to point out that I recognize we are getting pretty close to 2:30, but because we have some great questions here, we're probably going to run over just a few minutes. So I hope you guys have a nice cold drink in front of you. Sit tight. We've got some great questions coming up. This one, I want to shoot this over to one of my fellow UW-T alums, Maria. What are the demographics of the student body at UW-T? Specifically, is there an older student population?
All right, hello, my name is Maria Reyes. I'm the Pierce to UW-Tacoma Transfer Academic Advisor, and I am a double alum. I got my bachelor's and my master's at UW-Tacoma. I started as a freshman way back when, and the average class size was about 25, 26 years old. So that's kind of like the average. I like to say that really enriches your classroom experience because you get an array of students from all different walks of life, and it really helps you learn a bit more, and it enriches the classroom experience. So that's kind of what I experienced, and I was I guess, traditional freshman when I started, but it was really interesting and really cool to experience.
I agree, and I'd also love to hear Jorge's response because he was also a UW-T alum.
Thank you, Navia. I think one of my biggest pride points about UW-Tacoma is how diverse the campus is. I really believe that our campus includes a range of ages from student population. And so I decided later in life to finish my degree at UW-Tacoma, and I felt like I was very welcomed. So it doesn't matter what age you are, it's all about being welcomed on campus. And not only was I welcomed as an older student, but as a veteran as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that with us. We've got another financial aid question for Isabel. Let's see. What if I haven't received my financial aid award yet? Will I still be able to apply for scholarships that are offered within the university after May 1st?
So that's a good question. Oftentimes, as long as you've completed your FAFSA application and that has been completed and it's been on time, you'll most likely be eligible for a lot of scholarships on campus. However, each scholarship is going to be different. And so you definitely want to look at the fine print of each single scholarship that you're applying to and see what the requirements are. Oftentimes they are going to ask you for a financial aid award. And so you can always print that off in your MyUW account under the print award letter section. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much. This is a good one for Kira. Will I need to take a math placement test if I completed my associate's degree during Running Start?
Good question. So in terms of math placement, if you have any college level math that you've already taken, you may not need a math placement test. So I encourage you to reach out to your advisor and we can take a look at if you require a placement test. I'll also say some majors don't require any math. So some of you may never have to take a math placement test, and that's okay. That's very normal. But if you have any like pre-calculus, for instance, at Running Start credits, you may not need to take a placement test. But because it's so individualized, just reach out to us. You can reach out to our general email, which is just uwtuaa@uw.edu. And we can give you some next steps to see if you will need a placement test in summer or not.
Wonderful. So helpful. So this next one, I'm sure is on everybody's mind. So I think it would be best to shoot this over to Megan, our Associate Director of Admissions. Megan, when do you anticipate the UW-Tacoma campus being open again to the public?
Yeah, I would like it to be tomorrow personally because I miss campus so very much. So what we know right now is that our spring term is going to be held remotely. So spring term ends in the middle of June. And we know that our summer term, there was an A term and a B term of summer, that A is going to be held remotely. So they don't necessarily have an exact answer for all of us right now. And I think that really following the governor's orders and, we've got amazing leadership on our campus who's really doing their best to make sure that everyone is set up for a safe return. So my hope is sometime in the midsummer, but there is really no official date when we're going to open back up.
Thank you. I wish we were back on campus too. But let's give Isabel another question. Financial aid. How will a summer job or living at home instead of, I guess, on campus, how will that affect my financial aid award?
Great question. So when students are looking at their cost of attendance budget, we're calculating students who are choosing or wanting to choose to live on Court 17 versus living at home, or like in an apartment on their own. And so when you take a look at that, we factor when you choose to live on Court 17, you're looking at the additional cost of what Court 17 is versus whatever your rent might be in an apartment or living at home with your parents if they charge you or not. And so it could be a significant difference in what is being, thousands of dollars of differences in what's being offered to you for financial aid. So if you had essentially selected that you wanted to live in Court 17, when you filled out your initial application and those circumstances have changed up since then, you can always notify us and we can update your budget. Just so that it looks a little bit more accurate and you have a more realistic idea of what's going to be charged towards your tuition.
Thank you so much, Isabel. I don't know how you do it because financial aid, that's a tough world, but thank you for that great answer. I'm going to shoot this next question over to my colleague, Janet. Janet, who can I contact about questions regarding vaccinations?
All right, the most appropriate office to contact about questions regarding vaccinations and the immunization requirements is the Student Transitions and Success Office. They house those documents, so they'd be best able to answer those questions. If you are a student who has already completed those forms, you are able to actually upload those documents via an online tool. So if you go to our website and search submit your immunizations, you'll see a portal there where you can submit your forms and additional documents.
Thank you so much. This next question, we can give back to Isabel because everyone wants to know about money. How do you know if you're a Husky Promise student?
Great question. So on your financial aid award, it's not going to specifically say Husky Promise. More likely, it's going to say something to the effect of university grants and scholarships, or university tuition exemption, university undergraduate grant, something to that effect. If you are wondering if you are Husky Promise, you can definitely contact our office and we can go over your award and kind of explain what's being offered to you and if you are Husky Promise eligible.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So this next question, I'm going to throw over to my colleague, Octavio. Octavio, when does orientation happen?
So orientation is not going to be until the end of summer. It's going to be closer to when classes actually start. So you're looking more like September dates. As far as are those set in place? Not quite yet, but do be looking at your email, both the one that you gave us when you first applied and also your UW email. So when you set that up, we're going to start sending communications to that. But do be on the lookout for those. So yeah, right now, don't worry too much about the orientation that's coming later on. It's not going to be right in June or anything like that. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Octavia. This next one just came in, and I know there's other people out there that are wondering the same exact thing. So I'm going to throw this one to Megan again. Do I have to confirm my spot and pay the NSCOF before May 1st if I haven't been accepted into my major yet?
Excellent. Okay, so May 1st is a national, please tell us where you're going date. It is a common date that you'll see really from every institution. And May 1st exists because it actually helps us set up the best transition for you. So we're making sure you're getting communication about advising and registration, and we're making sure that you're getting timely communication about orientation and start of classes. Now, this is a weird world. So you do not have to confirm before May 1st. If you feel like you need to wait until June to feel fully informed before you make that decision, that is completely fine by us. It is more important for you to feel informed and inspired and 100% behind your choice to choose UW-Tacoma than to have any regrets. So if you need to speak with an advisor at any time, we've got live chat going Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. You can connect with any of these amazing individuals. We want to make sure you are informed, okay? So don't worry, don't let May 1st stress you out.
So true. And we really are happy to connect with you guys, phone, chat, or Zoom appointments. If you do a Zoom with us, you might get to see our dogs. So hello, let's do one. This question I'm going to throw over to my colleague, Maya. Maya, this student wants to know if there's a swimming pool at the UWY Student Center.
Hi. So there unfortunately is not a swimming pool at the Y for UW's campus. However, you do have access to multiple Ys. So if there is a pool in other locations of the Y, you can access those.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Again, there's one 5 blocks away.
Oh, yeah.
That's for the one downtown Tacoma. So you good.
Yeah, you can walk. It's quick. So this one again, hot off of your little fingers. You're texting these in. Is there a date or approximate time for freshmen to come in to do their UW ID photo card? I'm going to throw this one to my colleague, Jorge.
Is there a date? What was the question again, Navia?
I'm sorry. I should have shouted you out before, but I got so excited about this question. So the question was, is there a date or an approximate time for when a first-year student would come in to get their Husky ID card?
Typically, you will want to make that get that Husky card done prior to the beginning of classes, and that's it under normal circumstances. So right now, we're working with the Office of the Registrar to get those ID cards printed, and then they were using photos that prospective students were sending in to put on those ID cards. So we're working with all prospective students on getting those ID cards made. I hope I answered your question.
Ooh, Megan has an add-on.
Okay, this happens a lot even in person. So right now, what will happen is that students will be invited to an orientation program that Octavio spoke of right before classes start, and it's at orientation. Ideally, that's when we get you all set up to get your Husky ID card. If we run into a circumstance like we did with our new spring transfer students just a couple weeks ago, they have actually set up a plan to help students upload photos, just like what Jorge spoke of. So we kind of have this like virtual backup plan, but ideally you're going to be getting your Husky ID card at orientation so that you can hop on, use that UPass, get those student discounts, and have that proud card, right?
Yes, love the Husky ID card. So I think this is probably going to be our last question, and it is funny that you were the last to speak, Megan, because I'm going to throw this one back to you. We are being asked about housing rates per quarter. It looks like the student is wondering if you could go over how the housing costs work.
I'm going to be very candid. I don't actually have the housing cost information memorized. So my best understanding is that students are offered a couple of different lease options, a 9-month, 11-month, and a 12-month, I believe. So making sure that we're fitting your needs. And based on those lease options, you'll see different cost associations. You're also going to see a different cost association with like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath is going to cost different than a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. So bear that in mind, and you'll have all that information as you're signing up for housing and before you sign any contracts. Right now, our housing office is taking care of our current residents. We still have students living on campus, so unfortunately they weren't able to join us today. But I encourage you to shoot us any very specific questions with your contact information, because I would really rather get you in touch with our housing professionals so we can make sure that any nuances that are specific to you can get answered.
Thank you. So that was our last question. But before we sign off and bid you farewell, I do have some really important information to share with all of you guys. One, UW-Tacoma Admissions has just launched their brand new YouTube account. Please go check it out. If you're on YouTube right now, go into the search bar after this ends and put in UW-Tacoma Admissions. You will find some awesome resource videos. You can hear from student involvement, to learn about clubs and organizations, our Center for Equity and Inclusion, where you can hear about all of the wonderful programming that they're doing all year. There are also faculty videos. So if you want to know what it might be like in a specific class with a professor, you'll get the opportunity to hear it straight from their mouth. So do check out our YouTube. We are so excited to launch that specifically for you guys. We know you want these resources. So check that out, subscribe. Next, I want to let you all know that our application is still open. You've been admitted, but if you have friends that you know will enjoy the campus community at UW-T, let them know. We're happy to answer questions for them. It does not close until June 30th. So just a little, bit of information to share with friends who might want to come and be a Husky as well. Finally, we do have an opportunity to connect with you guys to answer any other questions that you might have. So again, if you want to do a chat, a Zoom appointment, or a phone appointment, feel free to send us an email at uwtinfo@uw.edu. Again, uwtinfo@uw.edu. And last but not least, if you want to stay up to date on all of the things UW-Tacoma Admissions is up to, follow us on Instagram. We are super active. We're doing a couple of Instagram lives next week, so you'll get to chat with current students. We post reminders, campus photos, so you feel like you're there. Our Instagram handle is UW_Tacoma_admissions. So follow us. We would love to have you. And that's it. I really hope that this event made you feel like UW-Tacoma is the place for you. Again, I'm an alum and I had the best experience. If you decided that this is the place that you want to be in the fall, then do confirm. And if you have any questions about that NSCOF or the deferral, we're here to help. That's it for me, folks. On behalf of the entire UW-Tacoma community and the Office of Admissions, thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you in the fall. Everyone wave. Bye, guys.